I don't know.
All right, everybody. So Philip has busted out the pipe. There we go. There we go. Anyway, hi guys. Welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. Today, because Jimmy's not a snob, and
he's clearly not a snob.
The more people you add, the longer it takes. And it was originally going to be me and Joanna, and we're like, you know, who's a big snob that we should get on this? Philip. And so we did. So this is the book snob tag. What's up, everybody who's here? It's actually called the Snob-O-Meter tag. It's the book snob tag. And so we're gonna got 10 questions here, and then the last question says, "Hey, based on your answers to this, are you a snob?" And I have an unfortunate premonition that I am going to end up landing on the snobby side of a lot of these questions. Like, I have a one-word answer. Like, is this? I'm like, no, it's not. Moving on. Like, I have extremely strong opinions. Anyway, this is Joanna and Philip. There is no chance that you're subscribed to me and you don't know them. Philip has like 600,000 subscribers right now that want to listen to talk about One Piece or something, or Spiffbo or something. So thank goodness that Philip has taken time out of his very, very busy tennis playing schedule, to come and join us. Like, so multinational bestseller Philip Chase right here. And then we have Jimmy. You have me on your channel to boost sales. So like, I'm your mascot. Also, you have to understand, I don't start any of these. People say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Sure." Because if it's left up to me, nothing's ever going to get done ever, because I'm tired all the time. Anyway, hi guys. Are y'all ready? Let's do it. Let's get into it. This guy's warning you in advance. This may break into two parts depending on how long-winded we are, and what we have to say. But let's go ahead and kick it up. And I'll go last for this one because I want to hear what y'all have to say first.
Okay.
Boom. What is your definition of book snobbery? Joanna.
Me first?
Okay, Philip.
Okay. I think I have an answer for this. Book snobbery. Oh my goodness. I guess there. Book snobbery is when you dismiss an entire genre wholesale because you have this attitude that it is entirely inferior to your tastes, or even, I would have to say, maybe even an individual book, without ever having read a book, saying, oh, that book is garbage, right? If you haven't,
why would you use the language that I use, like, on the daily? This is targeted. You literally just targeted me. Maybe garbage is my number one descriptor of books, and I'm not
unintentional. Maybe unintentional. I mean, I think I was trying to channel Posh Allen there.
No, yeah, he doesn't read garbage either. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Right. So anyway, I think it's dismissal of a genre or a book wholesale without ever having even tried it. And yeah, that's what I'm going with.
I am going to piggyback off of Philip, and so yeah, I agree. Where you view one genre of book as inherently superior to like another one, but also for me, book snobbery is the way one talks about books and how you react to the way other people talk about books. Like, there can be an elitist bent, in my opinion.
I know where this is going.
On where, people are like, "Oh, well, I only talk about, I don't mention, and I don't care what the plot happens. I don't care if they're standing in an empty room, as long as the content is deeply philosophical and moving to me. And those people who just enjoy books, reading books for enjoyment, how plebeian!" Like
You're
that.
Like
that's snobbery. Like, it's to me, maybe it's not. Like, maybe there is an inherently superior way to talk about books. I mean, I would say that I also think that there is an inferior way to talk about books, even though I don't talk about books the way, some people talk about books, etc. So yeah, like, does that make sense? Like that, I think it also extends to attitudes towards book content, not just books that are being read.
I honestly thought you were going to talk about star ratings there.
Oh, no. I don't really think it's snobbish to not use star ratings.
Did you all hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay.
Here, folks.
Okay, no. So it's pretentious. It's pretentious, but it doesn't necessarily make you a snob. It is pretentious, and because your argument's bunk. Like those arguments, bunk. Well, they don't inherently mean anything. Well, no one's talking about the universal star system. We're talking about like Allen's star system versus Pete's. Oh, he didn't have one. Versus Evie's star system versus whatever versus Philip's rating system that he has to do for Spiffbo. All right. Sorry, Joanna.
I agree with all of that. I felt called out a little bit because sometimes I've often said in videos that I'm not like the most plot-driven reader. So sometimes I get into a book and I don't know, I feel like I do enjoy it in a different way than maybe the normal audience does because I'm weird and I feel like I enjoy books in a weird way. But no, I agree with everything. I feel like the term gatekeeping comes up for me when I think of book snobbery. Anytime somebody says, this is the only way you can enjoy a book, or you didn't read the book because you didn't see it the way I saw it, or like I think both of you talked about that, the objective statements of this is the way the book is, and this book is bad. This is just bad, or this is just good. And talking, I don't know, talking from a place of arrogance, talking in a haughty tone, I guess, which I hope I don't do, but I mean, I don't know. I hope not.
Joanna, I don't think there's anything wrong with being not a plot-driven reader. Like, that's different. Like, expressing a preference is different than stating that one is inherently superior to the other. Like, you liking, like, being a more character-driven, theme-driven reader is not the same thing as being like people that like plot-driven, like they are a step above Neanderthals, barely out of the protoplasmic ooze. If they can even read, are they literate? Like that's different. Like that's super snobby.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that.
Oh, you don't want to. I can't function without glasses, so I mean, it would be pretty.
Now,
it'd be like.
I do think that wearing a sports coat or a tweed jacket to talk about books is inherently snobby. While look at my
now that is a deliberate. That's a deliberate attempt to appear unsnobby.
Look, I'm just saying this is very right here, very of the people. And look at my disheveled head. That's incredibly unsophisticated.
You guys didn't see before he went live. He was doing this with his hair. And
normally I got like pomade in it. Like, get out of here. All right, let's move on to question number 2. Is there a genre or type of book you would never consider reading?
Yes.
Okay, Joanna, go ahead.
I'll hide the author, but I have a book here that I will probably never read. And I think you'll understand why if I show you the title.
I need to say KJ Parker.
It's called it's 10 Secrets in 10 Days to Becoming Your Husband's Dream Girl.
Oh gosh.
Why do you have that book?
This was gifted to me from my mother-in-law.
As a joke, though, right?
I wish.
Certainly.
I wish it were a joke. Yeah.
Wow.
It has all types of like biblical verses in it, and I'm sorry. I cannot. I can't even get past the title of the book. Like,
wow.
I tried to open it at one point, and I'm like, oh no! Like it flew across the room without me trying. So yeah, that's a book I would not read, and I will proudly wear my snob hat with this book. So
wow.
Yeah.
Is there a genre, like, or is it like outside of just specific books? Because I'm gonna put Ulysses on there. Never reading it.
Which makes you kind of an anti-snob in a way.
Ulysses sucks, Philip. Joanna, is there a genre that you would never read?
I don't think there is. Like, I know that part of me, I'll admit there's part of me that kind of has a little bit of a closed mind that I'm trying to get past, but I also like to prove myself wrong. So, like, for example, I feel so bad saying this, like, lit RPG, every time I hear about that, I always think, "I don't think that's gonna be my thing." But
Hey,
then I hear Brian Beltube talk about it, and then I think, "Well, I should just give it a chance. I should just give
yeah.
it a chance because I could be wrong, and I
So
love
guys,
being wrong."
there'll be a link in the description to buy 10 ways to make yourself your husband's dream girl in the description after the thing. So friends don't let friends read James Joyce. You know what, Joanna? I'm with you. Like when people talk about lit RPG, I'm like, why would I read a video game? Like I play enough of them. Like I don't want. It sounds so early 2000s fan fiction. Like back when I read with my friends, because I had friends in the fandoms, Harry Potter and One Piece fan fiction. And like that's what it feels like to me. I think the closest thing I've ever read is Heroes Die, which I actually really liked. But I'm going to go ahead and say erotica. I'm not going to read erotica. The next question is in fact about that. I'm not going to read a book whose the book whose purpose is sexy time. Like I'm just pass. So I'm not going to read that. Lit RPG, I'm not gonna say no right now. Let me tell you what I'm not gonna read right now. Dungeon Crawler Carl. You want to know why? People need to shut up. I'm so sick of hearing about it. So like people have inadvertently turned me against Dungeon Crawler Carl because I'm so sick of hearing about it.
Well, Alan, if you want to read something no one else is reading, you could read one of those Amish romances that Annette was talking about there.
Philip, I already read books that nobody else reads, and they're called KJ Parker books. Like I already read them.
Did he write any Amish romances?
No. Okay. Another genre book I'm not going to read. Books about the Amish. I don't care. Like I don't care. What do you mean? Aw. What's next up on your Amish TBR, Joanna? And guess what? I'm not offending them because they're not watching this.
Because they don't have televisions.
Exactly, Philip. They're an easy demographic for me to pick on right now. So
they might have the internet though. They might be on YouTube.
All right. Well, I apologize, Amish folk, but I'm not reading. I don't care. I don't care. Like I'm already struggling right now with Dreaming the Eagle, the first book of the Boudica, because it is. I don't care about first century British tribes dreaming rights.
Oh no, you just don't like it because the Celts kick some Roman butt.
Yes, except the Romans don't show up until page 550. Oh. I need them to get here now and save me from these people and their woad. Like, I don't care how the woad's made. I don't care. Like, can we move on? Like, where are the Romans to bring some civilization? That's what we need. Anyway.
Philip, I want to hear Philip's answer to this.
I also want to hear Philip's answer. Let's see if he's honest or if he'll be like, I'll read anything.
Actually, I think I've read almost every genre. Lately, as a SPFBO judge, I've read romantasy. I have read cozy fantasy. I have read lit RPG. I have read lots of genres that I probably would not have picked up if I hadn't been a judge for SPFBO. So I can't say I would never read any of those genres, I guess, right? I mean, I probably, outside of being a judge for SPFBO, will not pick up a romance book. That's pretty safe to say, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't categorize things that way anyway. Oh, what happened to Joanna? There she is.
Oh, she wants you. Are you trying?
Oh, she's gone again.
I think she's fixing something.
I feel like we're playing peekaboo.
I'm not doing that. She has control to remove her. So I think she's fixing something.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I don't feel like I have any. My erotica show. I can't say I've read. I don't know. If it's an SPFBO, I got to read it, right? So
yeah, for sure. Are there any genres that like you know, when you pick them up for SPFBO, you're just like, all right, I guess, like, let's do it.
You know, it's funny. Look, this year for SPFBO, I actually forwarded as my finalist a middle grade fantasy. A middle grade fantasy. It's the first time, by the way, that's ever been done for SPFBO.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I never would have predicted that, but you know, I'm just I got to be open to whatever, and I try when I'm reading as a judge to actually read the book not according to my own taste, but to read it with the question in mind of how well does this book do what it's trying to do? How well does this book achieve being a middle grade fantasy? And yeah, The Tenacious Tale of Tan and the Tender Sword. I forwarded that as a finalist for SPFBO 10. And I'm really happy about it because it made me laugh the whole way I was reading it. It was just a lot of fun. So yeah, I can honestly say that I don't feel like I'm a genre snob, at least. So yeah.
Yeah. So far, I am the one who has the biggest won't read. All right.
Sorry, I had to leave for a second because of my audio. I was having issues.
Right.
Does erotica count as literature? I'll start. No. Next. Who's next? No.
I mean, is it written with words and letters? Then
is
yeah,
is that how we're defining literature? Literature has some
Does it have a beginning, a middle, and an end?
All right. Okay. So are we saying that all books are literature? That's what we're saying. So if something is written down between two covers, it is literature. That's what we're saying.
Well, what is the Latin origin, etymology of literature?
I mean, it comes from littera, which means letters.
There we go.
Sure, but y'all quit being obtuse. Y'all know that literature has a connotation. You know that it does. You know, gaslighting me. Y'all see this gaslighting that's happening right here?
That is so funny.
Gaslighting.
Well, what does literature mean then? Well, how would you define it then?
Something that has inherent value when being read, which erotica does not. How about that?
I don't know if that's true though. That it doesn't.
You're allowed to disagree. Like,
okay.
I'm not like. I mean, I am the arbiter of truth, but
that's true.
No, erotica is not literature. No.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if it's written down, it's a story. It has.
You are being the fakest person right now that I've ever seen in my life. You are gaslighting. I have heard you talk about Malazan. I have heard it, Philip. I have heard it, and you are sitting here. No. All right.
Are you saying that Malazan is erotica?
No, I'm saying that Malazan is literature, and erotica is not.
Okay, so have either of you read any erotica before?
I can't say I have.
I have read.
I thought you read everything. Didn't you just say?
I have. Okay, so there hasn't been any erotica in SPFBO that I've had to read yet.
Okay, so the
romantasy, yes. Romantasy, yes. And some of it verging, I think, on erotica, perhaps.
The answer to who defines what has value? Me. I am the arbiter of this. Like, I'm the sole decider of this. So I have read snippets of I have read excerpts of 50 Shades of Grey, which everyone would agree is erotica. It is garbage. It's garbage. Like, it's garbage. Garbage. And
I haven't read it.
And you know what? Some of what frickin' Jay Kristoff writes should be considered erotica. And it's garbage too.
Ooh.
That's right. I said it.
I haven't read anything by him yet either.
Look, we're on my channel. I don't have to worry about rabid people in my comments being like, wah, 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 wah. I just block. There you go. All right. Anyway,
what defines erotica as erotica, though? I don't know even. I mean, how do you know when it's erotica?
I think it's pretty obvious. If there's like smut on like every other, I don't know, section of the book. I mean, I don't know. There has to be a frequent amount of smut, I think, for it to be considered erotica in my head. That's a good question. If anybody has a good definition of erotica, drop it in the chat. I did read a book that I think would be considered erotica. And I don't think I'll read more from that genre. it made me blush a lot. I'll say that. So,
Hold on. Because I don't like erotica, like people don't read books I like because I don't like erotica? Are you implying that people only read erotica?
Oh my goodness.
How do you think I got all those subscribers, Alan?
Oh my God, One Piece.
I've heard, I mean, it is a good question though, because like I've heard, I don't know. I feel like I heard recently somebody say Gravity's Rainbow, which is considered a great work of literature, having a decent amount of smut in it. I don't know.
Who considers Gravity's Rainbow a great work of literature? Name a real person who thinks that.
There are litfic people on BookTube who talk about that book all the time.
Okay, so go ahead. So since we're talking about book snobs, the label you just litfic people. There you go. Book snob. Boom.
Well, okay. I know that literary fiction gets a lot of criticism for being called literary fiction, and all fiction is basically literary fiction. But I mean, I don't know. I think that there is a genre out there that kind of fits this box that we call literary fiction that just doesn't have a better name for it. So I don't know. I could be making that up.
What's the title of that erotica, Joanna?
Sorry, what?
Marianne wants to know what the title of your erotica book was.
I don't want to talk about it.
Nope.
Hey, Cooper has a comment. I feel like it would make you very sad, Alan.
I mean, okay. If I liked Ulysses S. Grant, this would make me sad. But I mean, he's fine. He's a drunk. I mean, Grant's fine. Generals don't always make great presidents, unless you're Eisenhower.
Eisenhower, yeah, he was a president.
Mythology does get that. Yeah, like I think mythology can verge on it. Sure. Like,
hey, I heard those Romans got pretty kinky.
And guess what? I don't like those things either. Like some of Ovid's stuff can be considered erotica, and I guess it's literature, but it's literature by dint of being old. So, erotica is. I'll amend my statement. Erotica can be literature if it is sufficiently old enough to still be read. Then it can be literature.
Huh. So look, in 3,000 years, 50 Shades of Grey will be literature.
If and only if it is studied in school. If people 1,000 years from now study 50 Shades of Grey, joke's on you, can't no one read in 1,000 years. So
true.
If it's still studied, then yes, it can count as literature by my definition. All right, Philip, what about you? Is erotica literature?
I think I said it. I think it is. Yes. I'm going to go with a yes. Short answer.
It's not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Philip? Like you don't yes, lock in. Final answer. Why, Philip? Cite your source.
Well, I mean, it's their stories. Now, the focus of the stories may not be on the themes or on the character work or on the world building. Probably not. There's a certain focus, I'm sure, with erotica. I would imagine there's a lot of certain types of scenes that get, dwelled on in the course of the story. But there's got to be some kind of an arc, I guess, right? There's got to be some sort of plot to it.
Beginning, middle, end, and then you said that it probably wouldn't have themes, but I mean,
it might have themes, but that's not the focus. Probably.
I mean, there could be erotica that. Yes, I agree. Maybe the focus, the whole point is to get the reader excited. But I think that it could also explore boundaries and desire.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. How about that? Boundaries and desire, Alan.
Okay. Well, I mean, I might lose my contacts if I keep rolling them back in my head. I mean, sure. Listening to Philip use elevated language to talk about erotica is one of the highlights of my day. There might be certain scenes that are more focused upon.
I was thinking of Ovid.
No, you weren't. No one's read Ovid. No one's read.
Well, I actually have read Ovid. But...
Have you really? Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right. So we're gonna disagree. That's fine. Like, big surprise. What else we got? A beginning, an arc, and then a climax, if you will. Matt.
Maybe I should do a video of I read erotica for a month and see what people think.
All right, Joanna's the expert. She's the one that's read erotica.
I could become one.
Your channel would blow up. Actually.
I don't know what to tell you, Sal. I have judged it, and your comment sways me not at all. In fact, your comment, I feel, compels me to double down. So that's the way we do things now, right? We just double down. All right. So moving on. Here you go, Philip. Here you go, Philip. You question dodger. Is it better to read classic books than popular bestsellers? Go ahead, Philip. Try to lie.
This is easy, actually. It depends on your mood and what you
want. No, Philip. Oh my gosh, Philip. This is, guys, Philip is lying. He must be campaigning for something. Philip is campaigning for office right now. Watch Philip's channel, y'all, and tell me that what he says is his opinion. Like,
I'm doing a series on One Piece right now.
You are.
Philip kind of wins this one.
so wait, I'll elaborate and hope to persuade you. So the idea that better is the word that I object to here in this question, because yes, I will admit I do have a personal preference for what some people term to be classic books. In other words, books that stick around, that have stuck around because people feel a resonance with them. You know, a books that stand the test of time, so to speak, like Ovid, right? Books that are still read because they speak to the human condition, and you know, there are a lot of books that, you know, you can look in the 19th century. What books were really bestsellers are not the books that we're reading and studying and talking about today, because they had a certain popular resonance back then, but they didn't have as much to say, perhaps, about those eternal questions about the human experience and the human condition. So, I will admit, I have a personal preference for classic books, if that's what you want to call it. But I prefer to say books that are thematically driven and have some questions that they're exploring deliberately in the course of the storytelling, and that the storytelling goes hand in hand with that thematic exploration. Now, that is not to say that sometimes I want to pick up this is AP's analogy. Sometimes you want a really fancy gourmet dinner, and sometimes you want to go to McDonald's and have a cheeseburger.
Okay, and which one of those meals is better for you? Which one of those meals is better, Philip?
So again, going back to, I think it's a good analogy, because the meal that is going to sustain you and give you, more long-term benefits is probably going to be the one that has the thematic resonance that
better
people call. Again, what if I'm in the mood for something? Let's say I'm really tired, okay, and I don't have the brain space, I don't have the energy to read, to be challenged by this really thoughtful. I don't want to read, Toll the Hounds right now. I want to read a Dresden Files book. A Dresden Files book, or whatever, something that just makes me feel like I can get lost, and that's good for me in that moment, isn't it? Because that's what I need, right? So I don't think you need to say one is better than the other. It's just they have different purposes, right?
Is it better for you to read classic books? Then, guys, quit focusing on bestsellers. It means like popcorn fiction, like less literary, I suppose.
Right. In the long term, yes, I will go this far. I will say that if you read nothing but entertaining bestseller popcorn books, then you are not perhaps expanding your mind as much as you could if you did read more challenging books sometimes. So I will say that in the long term, it is good to read some, mix it up, have your fun books for when you're in the mood and when you need that, but also have your, challenge yourself go read some books that make you a little uncomfortable, that make you reach for the dictionary, if people do that anymore. Do people use dictionaries anymore?
I mean, sure, but you can read. I mean, you can read like heavier thematic works that aren't necessarily classics, like specifically the ones that have lasted.
Yes, yes, I mean? And maybe those will be around in it. I'd love to think that Malazan will be around in 1,000 years. You know, that people will be reading it because it has such beautiful exploration of the human condition. You know, so that's my convoluted answer. I don't know if I'm still on the fence or not, but I felt like I was clear enough.
Yeah, you were clear. I agree with everything you said. So I'm curious. So a lot of the people, or I feel like I've heard that a lot of classics of today were bestsellers in the past, but I guess I'm getting the impression from you that that's not the case.
Oh no, yeah, there are lots of books from the say 19th century that were immensely popular then, but they aren't talked about now. Whereas the books we do talk about, many of them were not popularly successful in their day.
Yeah. I think so much of this depends on context and like mood. I agree mood plays a role, but I also think context as well. So like Philip brought up the context of if you're just going to read nothing but bestsellers for the rest of your life versus read nothing but classics, then yeah, you can make a value statement with that. But I think like if you're also talking about, I don't know, I just feel like it does matter. I also think about this with music because I love, a lot of you know, I love and studied classical music. And I think there's also a place for a good pop song. And I also think about like at one point, the Beatles were seen as the popular music of its time. And that a lot of, I guess, like scholarly musicians thought this is trash. This is not going to be studied. People are going to forget about the Beatles. And guess what? We're still talking about the Beatles. The Beatles are almost like a modern classic of sorts. So it's hard to put a statement on this. And then when I think about, and I think the same thing I could say about classical music, I could probably say about classical literature, which is that there's this misconception about a lot of classics that classics are only serious or classics are only heavily thematic or only whatever, like that there isn't a range when it comes to what we consider classics, that there aren't classics that are satirical, that are funny, that are lighthearted, or classics that are romance. So I guess, I don't know. I just feel like context is such an important thing when it comes to this question. And I agreed with everything Philip said too.
All right.
Not just saying that. I really did.
To make a value judgment since we got two cowards on this panel.
I will say this though. And I know this is probably going to relate to a question later on, but I did not grow up reading as many classics as I feel like I should have in schools. And I feel like there's part of me that personally feels like I suffered from that. Like I feel like I'm barely catching up. Like last year was the first time I ever read Tolstoy or Dostoevsky. And I feel kind of ashamed of that. I don't know. I know I shouldn't, but I do feel like maybe I would have expanded my mind earlier had I read some of those works earlier. And there are still several that I haven't read. So I don't know. Maybe I do have a value judgment in my head that classics are better. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
Okay. So I'm probably going to end up leaning. So here's the thing. I think that high school English has a stultifying effect on even kids who enjoy reading. And it is because they are forced to read things that they are not engaged in. So I do think that they should be permitted to read something they want, because there is value in reading, like more than I had kids yesterday try to be like, I read the TikTok captions. I'm like, shut up. That's not reading. Shut up. No. Like, read a book, please. But also the classics should be studied because it's like to become a better speaker and to become a better writer. The old way of doing it, the Romans did it, and the way we used to do it when studying rhetoric and studying oratory and writing is you like copywrote, like you took a speech like from an orator or a page from a great work and you would write it down. And you would just write it word for word on a piece of paper. And that got you used to hearing how the people who were universally acknowledged as being good at this. Like if you want to learn how to speak, sit there and copy Demosthenes, copy Cicero, because then you know how they used language, how they like the way they used figures of speech, the way they used imagery in their speaking and everything. Like listen to, you want to know about anaphora, listen to Winston Churchill's battle of Britain speech. We'll fight them in the repetition or whatever. And there's value in that. And I'm talking to my kids also, like reading the people who are good at it, like has value. Like even if it's boring, like I understand it may be boring, that's true, but a lot of things that are boring have salutary effects anyway, right? Like they're good for you, builds character. Because like the way we insult people now is effing blah, 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 and I'm whatever, I'm behind a your mama joke, totally fine, like okay, we got it. But
you sound like my mom, by the way. My mom has brought up the same exact conversation point, like the last 2 times I've talked to her.
Good. Your mom's a smart lady.
Oh, she loves you too. So
and then, but then I read Thomas Urquhart, a 17th century author, who calls the robber barons of the time Quomodo kunquising clusterfists and rapacious varlets. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? That's so much better. Like having this wider range. A lot of what I teach, I struggle to convey what I'm saying to the students, and I struggle to teach them these other words because we don't talk like that anymore. The archaic way of speaking. And yeah, like for communications purpose, you don't need to speak in an archaic way, but having more, it's all about having more tools in your toolbox, like having a larger vocabulary, knowing how the greats of the past have done it, enables you to draw from more when speaking, when doing your own writing, exposes you to wider concept. It makes you a better citizen of the world. Now, I think reading for fun is also good. Like, I think enjoying what you read, like, I don't think, and I have seen people in the book space say, why do people read for fun? Reading should always be for some kind of, and I'm like, that's a drag. Like, that's a drag. Some of us already work a ton and, don't always want to work when reading.
Exactly.
But I do think that things are classics for a reason. And that when we're studying, if you want to study how to make the most money when you're being paid by the word, absolutely read Dickens. Boom. You want to know how to pad that word count? All about Dickens. That's great. But like, look at how Cicero talks about government and society, and about how Demosthenes makes an argument. How Ovid's turn of phrase when talking about origin myths and things like that. And so even in a boring book like Moby Dick, you can learn a whole lot of words that have to do with whaling. And I will always stand behind the expansion of vocabulary. Like that's my favorite thing is like Philip said, like having to read something with a dictionary, by your side, because it's, using words that like are not super common. So
I think we all just agreed on that.
Yep. Yeah. We did.
I think they're classics for a reason, and that I think they are better in the long run for you. Now, this says, is it better? That's different than is it better for you? I mean, I think one's like taking your medicine. But anyway, students in school should be able to read a mix. Like they should be able to read something that they enjoy while also studying what makes classics classic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that variety in the curriculum, I don't really know much about high school English curriculum these days, but I mean, when I think back when I was in high school, I did take one English class where I had a fantastic teacher, and we read Frankenstein, and in the same semester as we read like a Tony Hillerman novel, which I lived in New Mexico, so Tony Hillerman was a New Mexican writer, and it was fun. It was great to have that variety. Or when I took a college English class called The Odyssey of the Hero or the Heroine, and we read the Odyssey, but we also read Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. So we got like an interesting variety. It wasn't just classic, like ancient classic stuff. It's like modern stuff too, but that's exploring a similar theme. So I think there are ways to do it. And just, I mean, I would say, I'm sure Josh could talk about this from the orchestra perspective, Josh from Red Fairy Books, but I know a lot of music high school teachers might do this as well. They might incorporate a more popular song alongside a Mozart tune or Beethoven or Schumann or whatever, Bach. So I think having that variety is good. I think that especially growing up, having some exposure to classics is good. But at the same time, to motivate people to read, I think it certainly has its place to have your popcorn fiction, to have your fun, easy reads. I feel like I got into reading more as an adult by starting out with just some really easy reads. And then, like, eventually I wanted my mind to be challenged more. And I think that that's, I don't know, like, I can't stand this idea. And I know it's pervasive right now with this whole anti-intellectualism discussion that people need to be like looked down upon for reading fun fiction. So I agreed with, I don't know. I don't think I disagree. I just agreed with everything both of you said.
This is like asking, is it better to eat broccoli than chocolate cake? Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to have dessert, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would be a terrible host if I gave somebody broccoli for dessert, wouldn't I?
The high school curriculum, Joanna, has kind of strayed into really the only classics that they read now it's all 20th century literature. So like they don't really, at least in my high school, and I'm going from what used to happen. When I was in high school and when I first started teaching, it was Romeo and Juliet in 9th grade. In 10th grade, they read Julius Caesar. In 11th grade, they read Hamlet. In 12th grade, they read Macbeth. It was Shakespeare. They also read the Odyssey in 9th grade. And when I was in school, in my freaking lit class, I had to read Great Expectations and Tale of Two Cities. I had to read 2 Dickens novels.
Wow.
I haven't read any Dickens. See, this is like embarrassing. I am the result of like poor education.
Tale of Two Cities, if you have to read Dickens. It's the only one I can tolerate.
My mom has been begging me to buddy read it with her because she loves that book.
Worst of times.
Yeah, my mom's always quoting that too.
But they don't read Shakespeare anymore. And that's tragic because I think Shakespeare's command of language. Like Shakespeare's command of language should be studied and learned. And just the simple act of teaching kids to read to the punctuation and not the read to the end of the line so that you can, like watching. I used to do Shakespeare workshops and stuff when I did theater and stuff, and watching a student connect with Shakespeare's text for the first time, for having them understand what Shakespeare is saying for the first time is just, it's so rewarding.
You know what? That's like learning that broccoli can actually be delicious.
Yeah, seriously.
It is delicious. But
Even some of Shakespeare's stuff now, I'm just like, I have to read it multiple times. Be like, what are you saying? Like, boss, what are we saying here? What does this mean?
So Alan and I had a Snob-O-Meter mix-up moment. I don't know how to call it. Like Alan was saying that when it comes to our snobberies, that if there was a Venn diagram that we meet in the middle over Shakespeare. Remember that? You said that recently.
Yeah, for sure.
We both got excited about those BBC productions of Shakespeare plays. Which is
absolutely.
Such good stuff. Such good stuff.
I love Shakespeare. So that's a good question. I like that one. I'm going to read the next question and set you guys to talk about it so I can put Atticus to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I might repeat y'all's stuff. No, the only classic that has no value is James Joyce's Ulysses. It has no intrinsic value. Have you ever bragged about reading a classic to sound smart? You know what? I'll answer first so that I'm not covering. The answer is yes. And I was in college and I was hanging out with girls who read widely. And so, yes, because I thought it would benefit my opportunity to date said girls.
I love this story.
Wait, did it work? Did it work?
No.
Oh,
No. I mean, I was friends with them, but it didn't like, believe it or not, you having read a book that you haven't read does not actually instantly, endear someone to you.
doesn't turn on the charm. Yeah.
No. And guess what? Telling people the Latin roots of words doesn't work either.
I would think that would make them run away.
You know what? Good for you, Kyle. I did not used to have honesty and integrity. I used to lie all the time, as easily as I breathe, just like the teenagers that I teach now. I currently have honesty and integrity, but I did not, many moons ago. All right, y'all discuss, and I'll be back.
All right, Joanna, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, sure. I've never bragged about reading a classic in order to sound smart. I just confessed to everyone that I am super ill-read when it comes to classics. So no, it's more like I'm ashamed. I've talked about how ashamed I am. How about you?
I can't think of any time I've done that, actually. I'm trying to think hard back to way back when. I've certainly been embarrassed not to have read something that I feel like I should have read. Like that happens all the time, actually, especially when you're an English professor, people hold you to a higher standard, right? You're supposed to have read all this stuff, and you're supposed to never spell anything wrong or misplace a comma or whatever. And sometimes you have to just say, yeah, I didn't read that. I figure it would be worse to say I read it, and then they might ask me questions about it, and I'd be like,
that would be the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever done it, to be honest. So I'm trying to give Alan time to put his child to bed. But the honest answer is just like, no. Yeah.
No. Yeah. No.
We're being asked questions, though. I can't highlight them, but what classic are you ashamed not to have read? Master Sal is asking us, which classic are you ashamed not to have read?
Oh, there's so many.
So
many.
Just within fantasy, Gormenghast. I haven't read Gormenghast yet, and I feel kind of like a schmuck because I haven't read this. I think it's fair to call it a classic. It maybe I don't know if some people wouldn't necessarily categorize it as fantasy per se, but I think if we're gonna have a broad definition, then why not?
Yeah.
Is my copy of Ruin taller? I don't know. Is it? I think it's just an effect of the. I don't know. Oh, this is a Time of Dread. This is the next series. I think maybe that's what we're seeing. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Faithful and the Fallen copies are all the same. I don't know. Is there a particular classic that you are? I mean, I have so many. Guy Gavriel Kay is another one that. Again, we could argue about what makes a class. Yes,
yeah, you're really stretching into the fantasy area there. Yeah. Like I just need to read classics in general. I already mentioned Dickens. I've never read any Dickens. Let's see. I have War and Peace. I want to read that. I have it. Like I want to read it eventually. Have you read that one?
I have not read. Have I not read? I've read some Tolstoy, but not War and Peace.
Yeah.
And there's so many. I'm better read in British literature than I am in American literature. So there are a lot of great American authors I haven't read that I feel like I should have read. But that's because I teach. My job is I teach. I've taught the survey courses for both the first half of British literature and the second half of British literature for years, and so I've been able to sample at least most of the major authors that way, but I've never taught American literature, so there are a lot of gaps there for me, for sure.
That makes sense. Have you read Fahrenheit 451? I think
there's an argument for that. No, I have not read it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and I'm guilty. I've not read that, and I've not read. Oh gosh, I feel like everybody's going to judge me on Earth. I've not read 1984, but I saw an adaptation as a kid, so I know the basic premise. Yeah, and I'm going to read it. I want to set aside a month at some point and read dystopian novels because I have it in my head that I'm not a dystopian fan because just the idea of a totalitarian government and this bleak atmosphere, I don't know. It just doesn't sound appealing to me at all.
It's very big. Yeah. I have read 1984 multiple times, actually. I think it's a great book. But So yeah, there's so many gaps, and I'll never be able to fill them all. No way.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, if you had to brag about reading a classic you haven't read, which one would you be able to talk the most about?
Like faking it, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I think I
also,
would.
Philip, you should feel shame for never having played a video game, and yet you don't.
I played Witcher 3 once.
That's true. You didn't know that, Alan? He has a video about it.
There's video evidence of it on my channel.
When were you playing Witcher 3?
You haven't seen that video?
No.
It's been on his channel forever. Yeah.
Classics. You know.
Did you even know how to walk in a straight line?
No. That's why you should watch it.
Oh,
I had a student who came and educated me about storytelling in video games, and then he taught me to play Witcher 3, which I was terrible at.
That's because Witcher 3 is like a masterclass on storytelling in video games.
Yeah, well, that was the point. But I was not a very good player.
Josh, I also enjoy Animal Farm better than 1984. And let me tell you how much my heart sang today when I was in my classical studies class or something, and I was saying that like they're all the same rank. Like they're all going to be the same rank, but some of them are going to be more the same rank than like others. And my students were like, some animals are more equal than others. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have high school students quoting Animal Farm? Bless you, children. Bless you. There is hope.
By the way, I think, Alan, you're way ahead of us on the Snob-O-Meter at the moment.
I think so.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I am not.
We knew this would happen.
In fact, we have a studio audience, like with their live little, you know how in like debates they have the little turn thing. So let's go ahead and see. They're coming in now. Hold on. I'm getting the results now. Get to the news desk. Hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on. It's almost. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, these findings. Can you believe it?
I think we should have people leave their comments in the chat. Who's ahead on the Snob-O-Meter?
Okay.
Right
yes.
As you can see in this very scientific graph that just was given to me, in fact, my snobbery has actually like plateaued and then like dropped.
Okay, that's not fair. You used a baby.
Look, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
that's what politicians do.
That's a bigger dip than the recent stock market.
It's because I'm a man of the people, and the focus group, they recognize that, and they're like, you know what? And they turned the dial. So,
goodness.
Anyway, and you know what? It is okay to be a snob if you're correct. So, all right. What's next? Guys, we are not going to belabor the first part of this question, because if I have to watch another video or have another video on my feed with the title of this, I will lose my mind. Do audiobooks count as reading? I will lose my mind. Can we just agree that audiobooks are reading, and that we're not arguing the semantics of what the definition of reading? Yes. Sorry. The definition implies seeing words and processing them, but you're consuming the book like it's the same thing. Can we just agree on that instead of arguing?
Before my power goes out, because that was like the loudest thunder ever, I just want to say I 100% agree with this. Nobody who is saying that audiobooks count as reading is arguing that reading with your eyes is different than reading with your ears. Nobody is saying that. It drives me nuts. Yes.
Kyle, stop. Kyle is not telling the truth. Kyle is throwing a live grenade into the chat. I'm not taking the bait.
Especially given that Kyle, I think, consumes a few audiobooks.
Not a few. Kyle consumes approximately 35 audiobooks per week, and then another 24 like physical books per week. So
anyway. I feel like I have to support my audiobook narrator, of course, on this.
I appreciate it. Ben asked me earlier how I like Prophet of Idan, and if y'all read the first one and liked it, read the second one. The second one's better. So,
awesome.
My favorite elf stuff is in the second one.
Really?
Yeah.
Second one's better. But
Comic
okay,
books and graphic novels, absolutely yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So first of all, by definition, it counts as reading. Like
Yeah.
you're consuming it with your eyes, and there are words.
It's comic books and graphic novels. So.
Correct. I think what the comic book and graphic novel part of the question is like, does it count as like are you reading, or are you just kind of like,
I hear people apologize about this all the time on BookTube. They're like, I read 20 books this month, but I have to say like 10 of them were graphic novels or comic books. And then I guess some people like have a problem with that. But I
those
think
are
it
gorgeous,
counts.
Kyle. Those are gorgeous. I think they're more saying before someone like me jumps down their throat and says it's reading 20 books in a month. That's ridiculous. So they're being like, no. Some of them were very short. They did not have as many words. I'm hoping that's why they're doing it, and not because people are going to like attack them by saying you didn't read.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways. I've heard some people say it like apologetically, like I didn't, or whatever.
Mitch.
But
Mitch, what are you doing? Is it fair to say that audiobooks are separate but equal from reading? Stop it. I mean, okay, this one's fine. Like we're none of us. Okay, I'm getting live feeds in. You've both dropped some in here because only a snob would think that it's not reading. Oh my gosh! I will end my life. No, we're not.
Oh no!
No, we're not talking about that.
I already did that. Just
did you know
kidding. I didn't really do that.
Did you know that it's dead, Joanna? Were you aware that epic fantasy is dead?
I killed it.
It was you, the assassin elf.
It was.
I
had help. I was on Tori's channel.
I mean, this is true. This is true. Some audiobooks are more equal than others. All right, number 7. Have you ever looked down on someone for reading a popular fluff book, which is like a book with very little what someone would consider substance to it, like a self-help book or celebrity memoir? So yes, all the time. Like, why are you reading garbage? I had look. Like, I'm the only one here not too afraid to lie, like, or not afraid to tell the truth. Philip's over here gaslighting me, left, up, down, through, and sideways.
Hey, I have to say, so I grew up with my parents were both readers. My father has read a lot of fantasy, but also he's also, he has a doctorate. He read a lot of philosophy and theology and stuff like that. And my mother also is a reader, but almost exclusively reads romance novels. Okay. And she loves that. And that's one of her joys in life is to read romance novels. So I have no problem. I don't ever look down on somebody for reading something that's different from my taste. That's just, why would I want to make someone feel bad for engaging in an activity that they love, that gives them a sense of, of fun and escape. And, so I just feel like life is too short to look down on other people for their reading habits, right?
All right. Okay,
I think it's kind of telling that, the person who wrote this question said that self-help books have little substance to it. Is that what they said? Or celebrity memoir?
Self-help books can be pretty deep, right?
Yeah, and same with the celebrity memoir sometimes. Some of them, I'm guessing. I know that they're not all the same, but I'm not a big memoir reader myself, but I know there's probably some good ones out there, I'm going to guess.
So I'm happy. I'm an equal opportunity look downer. So I absolutely look down on people for reading garbage, but I also look down on people who are like, I just for fun today, I picked up Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. I'm like,
okay.
Come on.
I was thinking about picking that up today.
Jared Henderson, come on.
Wait, after you finished Ulysses, Joanna?
Yeah. I'm not even joking. I was listening to a podcast and I was like, I don't think I've ever read that. So
read what?
Aristotle's Ethics.
Of course you haven't. Why would you? Who would read it for fun? There's no reason to. It's plotting and pretentious.
It's fascinating how much how influential it still is, though. Like a lot of the Like, for example, okay, something I learned today that I didn't realize, I never made this connection before and I felt kind of dumb. I never thought about how the word platonic, as in like a platonic friendship, came
Plato.
from the word Plato. Like, I don't know why I never made that connection in my head before. I felt kind of silly. And it turns out that it was Plato's whole entire view
Oh,
about
me too.
love. And anyway, I find that stuff really interesting.
So I can't not. I look down on almost everything my students read. Like every time I see them reading a book, first I rejoice because when the kid finishes taking a test, they pull out a book, right? Instead of just sitting there or sleeping. And I'm like, awesome. And I always ask, what are you reading? And, they show me, and most of the time, a lot of times something I haven't heard of. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But sometimes it's like this girl, freshman girl, and had this tome. And I'm like, oh, dang, what a like huge book. What are you reading? It's Breaking Frickin' Dawn, like Breaking Dawn, book 4 of the Twilight series. And I said, why are you reading that? Like, I'm like, why are you reading that? She's like, it's good. I'm like, it's not though. But then I followed up with, at least you are reading, and it is an 800-page novel. Like good for you. I strongly disapprove of what you're reading, but at least you're reading. Because like, why? Like, read something good. Like, please, just read something good. But they're always reading. What some kid was reading, like, hey, Mr. Walker, have you read this? And it was Song of Achilles. I'm like, no, and I'm not going to. Like, I'm not going to read Song of Achilles. Like, they're like, but you teach this. I'm like, I don't read every Greek mythological retelling, and I promise you, I wouldn't like Song of Achilles because I don't like Achilles or big dumb Patroclus. So, anyway,
that's so judgmental. Oh my
ways.
goodness.
Yes, yeah. Don't
imagine a teenage girl. Imagine a teenage girl reading a book written for a teenager.
Well, I actually read Breaking Dawn when I was an adult, and I remember my then boyfriend totally mocking me, like when I was reading the Twilight series, like, "This is such bad prose. This is such trash." And then every second I turn around, he was secretly reading it, like. And then he kept trying to get me to read the Charlemagne Harris series, the other vampire series that True Blood is based on.
No. I'll judge him too. No.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was, I mean, I didn't like Breaking Dawn, honestly. I really hated that book, to be fair. But it was good escapist fiction for me at the time. I was working really hard in my life and it was a good escape.
My biggest problem with Stephanie Meyer's prose is her dialogue tags. Like, he shouted loudly. Like, I know what the word shout is. Please stop. Please stop.
Ouch.
But Joanna, we've been friends for 4 years, and like, you're like, you're so judgmental. Like, how are you? Like, surely you've talked
to a teen who's reading. Aw.
Joanna, I am trying. I oppress my students all the time. I mean, I'm a tin pot dictator.
I think you should give them all copies of KJ Parker books.
They would never read it, and also they wouldn't know what many of the words meant. They just
and a dictionary. Give them a dictionary at the same time.
They don't know how to look up words in the dictionary, Philip.
It actually might be true.
Yeah. Yes, I look down on teens, and I do look down on teens, and also, people can read Cersei and Madeline Miller, but then they're like, "Would you like it?" No, stop. I don't like it. So yes, I look down on people. I look down on Jared Henderson and teenagers. So I'm really, I'm the fairest one here. I am an equal opportunity judger.
I've looked down at myself for reading fluff books. I guess that's kind of snobbery.
Like, you shouldn't self-flagellate just because you're reading something that's good instead of something that's garbage.
I used to make fun of myself all the time. Like, I'm reading some healy-feely book.
Oh, you just went quiet, Joanna.
I bully K-Fox. Kim, I bully her for reading her some terrible romance book or whatever. I bully my friends all the time. Like, my Discord is not a safe place. It is a place filled with judgment, but also righteousness.
What's the difference between righteous judgment and snobbery?
You are a good example of snobbery. I am a good example of righteous judgment. That is the difference. And this is, see, Philip, I long ago, look, I recently came to a realization that not everyone is like familiar with me, like as a person. And so people stumbling across my channel every now and then, like will say things, and it's like, do you understand that like this is not completely like
right.
Like that everyone I'm talking to is in on the on the thing. So yeah.
I know, because you've been a guest on my channel and I've had to defend you in like 1,000 comments.
I know. So it was going on other people's channel that made me realize like, oh, my channel is the only safe space.
I mean, people here do know you, I guess, and love you. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I mean that's true. All right.
I had to unmute my mic. Is my mic?
No, it's not working.
You're working now. It's good.
Oh, gosh.
No, it's not. Her mic isn't.
My mic isn't.
Oh, there we go.
We hear you. We hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good now. Anyway, have you ever been the recipient of someone's snobbery? Yes, Joanna and Philip. They are snobs all the time. And Jared Henderson. He comes into my comments and into my Discord just to show off his check mark about how important a YouTuber he is. All the time.
With his check mark in the comment, when he leaves a comment, he has a special like silver check mark next to it.
Yes. And anytime I recommend any book to these two right here, they don't read it because No. All right, I'm going to mute both of you so that I can talk without interruption. Because anything that I like couldn't possibly have intrinsic value. Nothing that I read. All right, so I'm gonna have to do this for Philip too. So anything that I read cannot have intrinsic value. So that I am the victim of snobbery every day, bullied by these two. In fact, I only agreed to do this so that I could have my day in front of the people. We're gonna try this in front of the public so that I can talk about, I don't know what you're trying to prove here, Philip, but these two bully me with their snobbery all the time. I'm like, hey, what are you reading? And and they're like, hey, do you want a buddy read? And you know what they always ask me to buddy read? Hey, do you want to buddy read some book about a woman that had an epiphany about her life because she saw a roach die once? And no one wants to read that. Like nobody wants to read that. It's never like, hey, Alan, I think you might like this book. Let's read it together. No, it's always like, hey, Alan, do you want to read something that's a huge snooze fest that's going to take you 1,000,000 years to get through, that has a main character named Shevik, who's the most boring person of all time? That is what I get from Philip and Joanna. Meanwhile,
Joanna,
I've discovered a series that Philip, as a medievalist, would love, and it's called The Warlord Chronicles. And
I have it.
Okay, Philip, I own a bunch of books too that I'm never going to read.
No. I have to read these. I have to read these this summer, or I have to close down my channel.
Yay!
Man, I sure hope you don't get to them. I hope you don't get to them. I'm going to steal.
No, you have to get to them. And I read those because of you, Alan. I read Warlord because of you. I read Shogun with you. Do you remember that?
You know what, Joanna? Old favors are soon forgotten.
Also, Joanna, I believe that we are currently in a buddy read. You and I and Christopher Navo, and there was someone else that was in the buddy read, but who snubbed us. Who actually said he didn't want to join us. By
snubbed, he means had to take children on a stupid school thing and has a 1-year-old in the house, so can't quite get to the 600 and something page book filled with names that I don't recognize. I feel that, by the way, Philip hated. So everyone here attack Philip. Philip hates Ken Liu, confirmed. Get him, guys.
I feel rejected. I feel utterly rejected. Don't you, Joanna?
Yes. We give you a lot of time too.
Oh my gosh, I can't listen to this. All right, Joanna, have you ever been the recipient of someone else's snobbery?
Yes. I don't know, but it's happened.
I mean, I was just ditched in a buddy read by somebody.
Oh my gosh, that's not snobbery, Philip.
There you go. Yep. I don't know. I'm sure it's happened though. I know there was one person who commented on my top 10 fantasy series video
all the time.
Yeah, and they were like putting George R. R. Martin above Tolkien. Like, what he said, this video lost all credibility or something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. So I was
those
like,
are the people I was talking about at the beginning, like those people. And so yes, I just recently actually was a victim of book snobbery. Hold on. And it's about Terry Pratchett. In fact, Terry Pratchett, who is one of my favorite authors of all time. And this guy told me, he said, here we go. You did not read the books very well. Hence the amount of mistakes you made explaining them. And FYI, Two Flowers not referencing Japanese tourists, but to an ignorant American tourist that sees no danger and thinks he can buy everything. Witches Abroad takes place in Louisiana because Americans would rather believe fairy tales than deal with the truth. So does your review.
Whoa. Well then.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Now we feel very intellectually superior after leaving that comment, right?
Look, if his mom needs to tuck him in to bed every night, like that's between him and his mom. So it's just so stupid. Philip, what about you? Surely, Philip, you've never. How can the alpha snob be victimized by another snob? No, I bet AP's victimized you. Like he's the only one that can rival you.
I have 2 words for you: graduate school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Argument's done. Argument's done.
Well, I mean, and you read fantasy in a profession that maybe doesn't widely respect it on the level.
Even actually, you guys, even being a medievalist, people who specialize in other eras kind of look down on us. So,
I think I told you this, but I was actually thinking about you recently because I read Name of the Rose by Echo, and I was loving the medieval stuff so much. Like the medieval nerd in me just. It was like I'd forgotten how much I love this time in history. I was thinking, I just want to be a medievalist. Maybe Philip can teach me.
Yeah.
I definitely judge you by your choice of time period, Philip. 100%. Like,
it was a nerdy time period, but it's an awesome one.
No, Philip just waited till the best of the people were gone. Like Roman stuff. Like that's like having Reconstruction be your favorite period of American history. Like, what a snooze fest. Reconstruction. Like, oh, I'm sorry. One of my best friends, that was his specialization in his master's degree. And I'm like, Matt, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, is anybody invading? Are we invading here? Like, do we have Romans? No. All right. Well, let's move on.
I agree with the chat. Also, like, Josh was saying, I think every booktuber has been a recipient of someone else's snobbery in the comments section.
For sure.
And that's definitely going to be the case.
How are my episodes of Jeopardy victimizing you? How's that victimization of snobbery?
You do ask some very highbrow questions in there, Alan.
No.
And Thomas's comment here, I've been called a snob a ton on my negative Mistborn review. Maybe when I'm getting a YouTube check mark, I will make a video reacting to those. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Especially when it comes to fandoms and like the gatekeeping thing again, which I think I associate with snobbery. It just comes out in full bloom, whether people are disagreeing with you not liking something or, against you liking something. It just goes both ways.
Oh, I think Master Sal has an excellent point there. Latin is definitely more
that does work against me. That's true. But Philip can speak
Old English.
Yeah. Philip can speak Old English. That is way snobbier.
No way. Latin is definitely snobbier.
No, because Latin is taught in schools, multiple schools at the grade school level.
Okay. Here, I'll just say 2 sentences. You tell me which is snobbier.
Okay.
I walk to the store to buy my food.
Get out.
I perambulate to the store to purchase my
comestibles.
Okay, yes, there you go. Comestibles. Which one is snobbier?
The second one.
Which is based on?
Okay, Latin. I mean, okay. Latin. But that's Latin. Oh. All right. All right, Philip.
Wait, your comments were banned?
No, it's actually my biggest fan. Like I have a really big fan who loves to come and
it's a troll.
Yeah.
That wasn't really me.
That goes by your name.
Yeah, it's a moron who continues to pretend to be other people. So
No.
would you ever be friends? I'm friends with these two. Done. Enough said. Argument over. I'm friends with these two. And I'm also frenemies with Jared. So what about you guys?
I feel like I could be friends with anybody.
You know what, Philip? Not me. It ends here today. Not me. No longer.
Wait, I thought you just said you were my friend. You just said that.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Line must be drawn here. No further. That's good. Counteract your statement. What about you, Joanna?
I mean, probably. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Joanna, I've seen your Discord.
Well, that's pretty mean.
It's not mean.
The Fireside's a nice, friendly place.
Cozy.
I didn't comment on its welcoming. I didn't comment on its welcoming place. Joanna. Okay. All right. Okay. That's fair. But I think it is more likely the people who are going to talk in paragraphs are more likely to be snobs than not. Right?
Wait, say that again. The people with
It's a snobby thing to say.
How's that snobby? How's that snobby?
Well,
Joanna thinks I'm making a value judgment about her friends in her Discord, and I'm not. I'm just saying there are a lot of people that talk very highbrowly about books in your circle.
Isn't this the Discord that she shares with Josh and Matt?
Yes.
Are you saying Josh and Matt are snobs? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that.
Oh.
However, Joanna said that people in my Discord couldn't read.
I did not say that.
She most certainly did. I gotta find the receipts. I have to find the receipts. She said people in my Discord can't read. Joanna, do you deny having said that?
I think that got misunderstood.
It was hilarious. I was talking about something Joanna was reading.
I did not say that, Ryan. No.
No, I was talking about something Joanna was reading, and she's like, and I'm like, well, people in your Discord can understand. She's like, well, people in your Discord probably don't even know what these words mean. I'm like,
what? I did not say that. That's so not true.
It was said in good fun, guys. So before y'all blow out the tar and feather to get Joanna, she was kidding, and it was funny. No, your Discord is very friendly. I wasn't saying it's unfriendly.
But snobs are kind of, I don't know, exclusive.
I mean, you're right. Snobs do have a certain connotation, but the thing is like apparently I'm the biggest snob here, and I'm friendly.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe I'm the snob because I'm extremely not very active on Discord.
You're the snob because you don't have a TV.
Yeah.
Oh.
That makes you the biggest snob, like by default.
Well, I just have better things to do.
Oh my gosh. Philip.
Like read books that my friends recommend.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah.
Are people who don't read less sophisticated than people who do?
Ooh.
No.
That is so rude, Mitch. Mitch says Joanna's Discord users on average have more teeth than my Discord users.
Oh no.
That's so mean. That is so mean.
People who don't read less sophisticated. I think there are different ways of being sophisticated. Like I don't eat caviar or drive a fancy car. I drive an old Toyota, and I don't think people would see that as sophisticated, right? But I think that people who read, there are certain advantages to reading. Okay, I'm going to be honest here. I think there are advantages to reading that it can help you be more empathetic. It can help you be more, curious about the world. There are advantages to your brain, obviously, that are measurable when you read. So there are things that are huge advantages. So if you mean by sophisticated, people who are maybe a little more open-minded or just, open to experiences and other people in ways, maybe on average, it'd be a very difficult thing to tabulate though. But I just think that's a too simple statement to say yes to.
There are some people who say the same thing about music, and people who like listen to classical music or go to operas. that those people are more sophisticated than other people that go to other kinds of music performances. I just don't think it's true. Yeah. No.
So you're saying the people who don't read aren't less sophisticated than people who do read?
Hold on. Too many negatives in this sentence. I hate double negatives. It just
She's
okay.
disagreeing.
So are you saying that people who don't read are not less sophisticated?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, she's disagreeing with the statement.
I'm disagreeing with the statement. I'm saying that I don't think that reading is a marker of one's sophistication.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go with Anitha and Sal and agree with the statement. Yes. People who don't read are unsophisticated troglodytes. So, and
even if they eat caviar and drive a Lamborghini?
Eating caviar and driving a Lamborghini just means that you're rich and pretentious. Like, it doesn't mean you're sophisticated. I don't think you can purchase sophistication. And I think Crassus, Marcus Licinius Crassus, back in Caesar's time, was desperate to purchase sophistication. And it didn't work. Like, no one cared that you're the richest man in the world. Like, you're from a garbage family and you're still a trumped up merchant. So
I will say though,
how do you define sophistication, by the way?
The way I define it, like it's no. I was saying I define it by a moving set of criteria based on whether or not I think it's sophisticated or not. Like, I will paraphrase the Supreme Court justice that said, "I know it when I see it."
I would tell you one thing: I can't define sophistication, but if you go to the People's Academy yearbook from 1990 and you look up most sophisticated, guess whose picture is there?
Is it yours? Are you serious?
You were even sophisticated back then.
I was voted most sophisticated in my
How old were you?
17.
Oh my gosh. So this kind of dispels the idea I had in my head that you were, like, at one point in your youth, a long-haired grunge.
I was also voted most artistic, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Brian, the nobility would have disliked you. So yeah, I would say someone who reads erotica is more sophisticated than someone who doesn't read at all. Barely. Like, maybe maybe the erotica reader can use like simple tools, while the non-reader is still digging in the sand with their hands, perhaps. Is that true, Brian? Were you? And by the way, no one is surprised, Philip, by being voted most sophisticated in high school. Your Snob-O-Meter, the focus group at home. It just
I know. I just damned myself there. Yeah.
Sorry. Joanna, did you win any senior superlatives back in high school?
I didn't. I should have, but I didn't.
You should have. You should have won. You should have won nicest.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I remember when I was a senior, there was a couple of people who'd looked at me one day and they were trying to figure me out, and they said, we can't put you in a box because you're kind of part of this group and then part of this group and then part of this group. So I thought that was cool. That was a neat compliment. But
yeah,
I was an artsy kid. I mean, I was into art club, drama club, choir. Those were my things.
Were you, Alan, voted any superlatives in your high school?
No, I wasn't friends with the yearbook kids. The only people that get voted those are the friends of the yearbook kids.
That's probably why I did.
Everybody knew each other in my high school. There's like 50 people in my class, so it's a small rural Vermont high school. So
Fox, it only makes you a snob if you bring it up at every possible. Like, Philip, apropos of nothing, I'll be talking about like, hey, so Prophet Banana is really good. He's like, I know, it's because I don't have a TV, and it's just like, what is that? Like, that's not even relevant. Like, it's just not even relevant. So that's what makes you pretentious.
It is relevant because if I had been watching TV, I never would have written it.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos and Yolanda, sophistication is possessing worldly experience and knowledge of culture and fashion. That is the dictionary definition of so. Oh, all right. Well, Ryan's trauma dumping for us. 2012 class loser. No one wanted anything to do with me, which was just fine. All right. James Dean over here. Most studious Evie.
That's
Annette was stoned and skipping. Writing you a DR. I'm writing you up ISS. Most likely to have a hot tub accident.
A hot tub. Oh, that's so funny.
All right. So the last question: measure yourself based on the answers to the previous 10 questions. Carlos was voted least employable.
Oh.
Oh no.
I would hire you, Carlos.
Yeah.
Would you qualify as a book snob? You know what? As we've seen here, Philip is not capable of having an accurate judge of himself at all. He lied and equivocated in the first several questions. Let's turn it to the chat. All right, chat.
Oh no.
Rank the three of us in order of snobbery. Rank the three of us in order of book snobbery.
So the first person is the most snobby?
Yes, from greatest in descending order.
Descending order. Most snobby to least snobby. Okay. Oh, this is going to hurt.
It is, because all of these people are going to forget that I'm the only one fighting for their rights as a populist.
Anita put me first.
Anita doesn't count.
This is right. Like, this is the correct answer.
I think she got it reversed.
Anita, you're so
How much are you paying her?
You're so smart. Anita. I don't pay her anything.
You got to highlight Brian's.
Brian didn't understand the assignment, so he clearly doesn't read. Yeah, I read KJ Parker. Get out of here. That automatically puts me in the tank.
I like Thomas's answer.
Thomas misunderstood.
Thomas got it.
Thomas thought it was in ascending order. So did Evie. Guys, it's in descending order.
All right, Evie.
Yay.
I cannot believe how my own people are turning.
Look at the gap between Alan and Joanna there.
And this is one of my privy council members. I feel like Romulus being murdered by the Senate.
Et tu, Master Sal.
Oh my gosh. Angie.
I love you, Angie.
And now Angie, what are you doing to me? There we go, Zen. There we go. Zen knows.
Why?
Zen knows.
Wow.
Oh, look at Noel's.
That's true. That's true, Fabled.
Yeah.
Noel, this is unkind.
We do love an honest snob. An honest snob above the snob.
Marianne, you too. Marianne.
Yay.
Marianne, I got you to join Discord.
It's
and
true.
This is how you repay me?
Alan got me to join Discord too.
And you betray me every day.
I'm you in the future, Marianne.
Oh,
another one of my mods turns on me.
Oh, this is great.
He's awesome because he loves
Rogue knows. Well done. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it was a tie.
Oh my gosh, Caprice's Fox coming at me. Fox, you don't have a TV.
Look at that one.
Carlos.
You have me because of the tweed. That's fine.
My jaw is hurting. Oh.
You're right. The demos is always wrong. You're right. This is why we don't have a direct democracy. Why are 100 people watching this? Like, that's what I need to understand. Is how do 100 people not have something better to do on a Thursday night than Gosh, they have. They've all betrayed me except for Anita. There we go. Anita's taking notes. There we go. All right.
So funny. We need to tag people at the end too.
That's true. That's true, John.
Yeah.
Hold on. Betweed.
Nice.
Thanks so much, Angie. I appreciate that. So
I think you won, Alan.
Ben knows.
Wait,
Ben.
Ben is judging us based on our reading tastes.
Interesting.
Though if we were on this reading taste, Jimmy is going to rank high also.
Jimmy would beat us all, I think.
Jimmy reads no. Joanna tops the reading list because she read a book about a woman whose life was altered because she saw a roach die.
That's true. It was a good book.
Oh my gosh, Joanna. My gosh.
I feel like that was a spoiler. You just told me the roach.
It is kind of a spoiler, but
yeah.
It's
in the blurb of the book. It's on Goodreads. That's the only reason I know.
Alan, you just ruined that book for me forever.
Oh, heavens forfend. I saved you from reading it. You're welcome. Again, the man of the people saves everybody again. There are so many people in my Discord that are about to get booted. All of this. I'm about to go tyrant. Anyway, guys. Oh, we're supposed to tag people. So I strongly encourage you guys to do this tag as well. In fact, it might actually be more fun if you get a group of people to do this tag on screen so that you can, play off each other. This is way more fun talking to Joanna and Philip than it would have been doing it separately. So I do have to thank Joanna for bringing it to my attention and saying, hey, we should totally do this. And then being like, we should invite Philip, which I think was a good ad.
I did say that.
Well, my jaw's hurting, so thank you.
This is the best way to do tags. Like, I never want to do another tag that's not live. Like,
live tags are the way. Like, they are the evolution. Like, live tags are really fun.
Yeah, I guess you better learn how to do live streams then. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Philip. So, who do you want to tag? Who do you want to encourage to do this? Who would be fun to see do this?
Oh my goodness. Who would be fun? Well, Brian was in the chat. I think.
Yeah, Brian, you definitely should do it. Brian, you should get on there with John.
Talking Story.
Talking Story. Yeah.
And
Jimmy, get Jimmy on there too. Jimmy'd be a good one to do.
It'd be awesome.
In fact, Brian, why don't you, Jimmy and John do it? That'd be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a good combination.
I'm gonna also vote StoryTube since they
for sure.
Oh yes,
have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, Carlos and Yolanda as well. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
And anybody who wants to do it, by the way.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't tag you.
Yeah, if we didn't tag you, please do it. Like, this was a good find by Joanna. Check the link in the description. We did not invent this tag. I have the original tag inventor down at the down in the description, along with both these wonderful people who
have some outro music.
Did any of us break the Snob-O-Meter? Did we break the Snob-O-Meter today?
I mean, no. No, we didn't. But I mean, apparently I was. Jared doesn't need to do it. Like, it's are you a snob tag? The answer is yes. You can just go ahead and say yes to Jared. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I need to go punish my rebelling citizenry. So thank you guys so much for joining. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, this was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for being a good sport at my possibly unwarranted slander at all of you.
Well, we all had fun at our own expense. So.
All right. Thanks, chat. Y'all have a good one.
Bye, chat.